Good afternoon, everybody. It's Graham Coath with My Music. Today, I'm going to be speaking to Becca James. I'm going to be asking her all sorts of questions about her life in music and also how she manages to grow those plants so well in the background there, because I always kill absolutely everything in the house. So maybe she's got some green fingered tips for us as well. Firstly, though, let's have this video from Analog Trash. Becca, thanks for joining me from London. So what's the secret then?
The secret to the plants?
Well, I left it deliberately open-ended so you could give me the secret to anything you like in the world. It could be to what the secret to making great music, the secret to growing great plants, or it could be to life, the universe, and everything else.
Oh my gosh. Wow. That is a big question. What is the
Let's
secret?
go with the plants. What's the secret to the plants then?
See, I don't know. I'm usually really rubbish, but I've been looking after some of my friends' plants, and I think just nurture, love, as with everything, attention, focus.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a really good start. That's a really good start. So attention, focus, love. Are they big things for you in life in general?
I think, well, yes, 100%. It's just fighting for attention and focus, because I'm quite an anxious person, and so I always have to try and bring my focus back to the present moment and back to what I'm doing and be nice to myself in the process. So 100%, but I wouldn't say I've cracked the code or I'm good at it. I'm always distracted. I'm always nervous. I'm always anxious, but I'm trying to focus, and music helps me to focus. Yeah, I would say that would be.
Is music then therapy for you in some ways?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, that's I write a lot about spirituality and healing, and the reason why I do so is because I am trying to heal myself, whatever that means. It's not a perfect destination, it's just how to process life. So music is 100% therapy for me.
Do you think that there's a lot of people out there that feel that way in life, that are actually looking for being complete in some way, that they just can't find that in everyday living? And what is it about life these days? Because you're a young lass. I've lived a little, but what is it about modern day life that makes people so anxious?
Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm very biased, but I believe that it is the way we've positioned ourselves as humans, as we're the center of everything. We're connected to other things, like nature, like the universe, like each other. I think it's just the way that we live. The individualism it disconnects us from each other and to feel part of the process. So when it's all on you and you kind of have to succeed and you have to have certain things, at least in the West I'm talking about, and at least in my experience, and I don't want to say everything's terrible and everything's bad. It's just there's a lot of pressure to follow a certain path, and then we don't really get educated, in my opinion, about how to kind of connect to each other, connect to nature, and feel part of community. And I think that's a big part of alleviating anxiety, to feel part of something. And if we're all kind of like this, it's very anxiety inducing. But that's just my perspective. I really don't know. And I don't think everything's horrible. I don't want to say that, but I think that does add a lot of pressure to the experience. Yeah.
So in a way, it was a way of trying to talk about that connection again that led you to music and kind of a healing from yourself. How did that start for you? Did that start in terms of music, or did that start by writing words about how you felt and expressing it that way?
I think singing and music was always, when I was a really young kid, it was just a friend. It was something that was just for me. Like, I was writing songs at quite a young age. And I feel like when you are really young, you do have instincts, you know what you really like and what you're good at, and you have no expectations or pressures that you get as you get older. You just totally indulge. So when I was a young kid, singing was my friend. It was something that I could do, and I could understand life by translating it into songs. And then as I got a bit older, I felt quite disconnected and stressed about music careers. I came from a working class background. I didn't see anybody that I just saw the kind of big industry, and I didn't relate to it. And nobody in my family were music lovers, but I guess I didn't feel guided or supported in that way. It didn't make sense. But as a young kid, it was really just intuitive.
So
And then
did you have a household when you were younger? Did you have a household where singing was kind of a freedom? Did other people in the house sing, for example? Did you kind of, were you able to like sing around the kitchen table or around the house as part of, of having? I know that sounds daft, right? But actually, I mean, I live in a house here where my children all sing. It's just a natural, it's a natural part of things, because I've always done that. I've always wandered around the house, I've sung, etc. And for me, I think it's such an important outlet, because it's almost like you're expressing your thoughts without them necessarily being hit towards anybody in particular, but you are verbalizing it in a melody, etc. And it's a real, and you're verbalizing it so that you can hear it as well. Does that make sense? So that you're actually expressing it and taking on board that perhaps you have got things to work through. And I think that's part and parcel of singing. But I have been in houses where people are like, shh, don't do that. Don't sing.
Yes. Oh, that's horrible. That's so beautiful
I know.
that you have that. And I think I kind of had a bit of that, but it was more that I was singing all the time. So me and my sister had bunk beds, and I would like drive her insane because I'd just be singing at night, and then she'd be telling my mum because I'd be waking her up, and then we had to get separated. So it was more that I was just doing it too much because I'd just be humming at night, and then my sister was like, shh, please give me a break. So I think they were super supportive. I was just maybe a little hyperactive with my singing.
I love it. Did you go through a point in your life then? I'm curious. Did you go through a point where you became very conscious of singing, if you know what I mean, in front of other people? Because obviously, as someone that then writes and is choosing a path to make songs and perform them in front of other people, you suddenly become that singing moves from being something that you do for yourself to something that other people want to hear. Yes. And there's a point of being very conscious that you're then performing for other people. Did you find that an easy transition, or did you struggle with that at all?
Oh my gosh, I struggled with it massively. I had, a huge insecurity. I still do. Like, I've worked really hard on my self-esteem. I went through quite a serious illness when I was like 17, and I that's when you're making big life choices, and music was that, therapy was that friend. And then, you know, I got through that period of time, went to university, and was still tentatively like it was just something for me. And it was a slow process of realizing what was truly wanted and admitting to myself, like, I want this as a career. Like, I might not be able to see how I can afford it, sustain it, do it, and at one point in time, even piece a song together. But it was, you know, admitting to myself that it was wanted. And that was step one. And then, you know, on my journey, there's been mentors and people that have, you know, been validating and supportive. And it's this whole permission thing. Like, nobody needs permission to follow their dreams or their path. But back to the society thing, if we're not really encouraged to connect with ourselves and do what we truly want, you know, it becomes very difficult, especially as a working class person, to be creative, like to be a creative. And so it's been a long, winding road, but I feel like now I have a different perspective, and that's come through a level of self-esteem that's, I have something to say, I have something to share. And I truly believe that everyone, whether you're in music or not, we all have a natural creativity to us, and we should be able to honor it, whether that's professionally or not. So yeah, I've shifted and I've grown and I've got older, and now I feel at least confident to share and to perform. But it's been a long path to be confident enough to do that.
I can actually hear in your voice the journey in that, as you said it. You started off probably where you were, but you could hear you getting more confident as you said that. You clearly, that bit about having something to say has now ingrained itself in you. What is it that you have got to say?
What do I have to say? I think that I don't want to overly identify with it, but it is what I write about. Whatever you have been through in your life, whatever traumas you have been through, whatever struggles you have been through, my music is about how I've transmuted those experiences, or I'm continuing to process them and deal with them. It's just kind of showing a way or being a support to people that are going through things, and by showing that I have, and I've gone through it, it's basically an exchange of emotion, of healing from trauma. And I don't want to just emphasize the trauma part of it, because I do write about my personal experience. I write love songs, I write lighthearted songs, but at the moment I've really focused on trauma healing. That's kind of my message, that you can transcend your experiences and you can heal and you can share things with people, because I think as we share, that's how solutions come up. So I hope that made sense.
Yeah, no, it does. What is it when people listen to your music and they give you feedback? What makes you feel good?
Ooh, I think recently, I've not put this song out yet, but there's been a couple of songs where people have come up and either said, like, I've been through exactly the same thing, like, thank you for sharing that, like, I felt less alone, or
That's
that it
powerful.
100%. It's like, okay, like what I'm doing has value, and I do see the value in community and sharing. And my particular skill is singing, and I want to be of service to people. And I feel like that is how I can be of service, is just to sing and share. And then, you know, so that's been powerful and wonderful, and I love moments like that. And if it's brought up some emotion, because I do think music is emotional work. You listen to music, and like you said, you connect to that emotion in a different way, and it can kind of transcend. And I think that's the power of music.
No, absolutely. You have a stunning voice. When did you realise your voice was as beautiful as it was, or didn't you? Or have you still not?
I think when I was really young at primary school, like a teacher had said to me that I was like putting on my voice because we were playing for this like school play. They were like, "So are you putting on your voice? Are you like putting on this voice?" And it made me really embarrassed. I was like, "Well, I shouldn't." Like, no, I'm not. So that kind of made me like. I was like, "No, because I've got such a quiet speaking voice, and then I have this singing voice that's totally different." And so I think that was interesting for the teacher. But I guess I've sung through my whole life, had encouraging comments and things, but really insecure. And I did this course after I graduated. I studied English literature. That was what I studied. And after I'd finished that in Newcastle, I had that was it. This woman, she's an artist, she's called Paige Temperley, and she contacted me on SoundCloud because I'd posted covers for fun for like years and years and years, and she sent me a message and she was like, "I love your voice, can I write a song for you?" And at that time, like, I had stopped writing songs, been disconnected from music and really just shoved it in a corner and was going to do something else. And she asked me that, and I was so shocked that she would want to work with me. And I think it was moments like that that just snowballed. And then I had a great singing teacher who empowered me to use my voice. So it's been, I hate to say it's been other people, but then not that I needed that validation or that attention, but that support from other people helped me to see what I was not seeing.
Yeah, it's 100%. It's always about other people.
Yeah,
I think we all need validation in our lives, and we all need to be honest, as society, I feel that we all need to shine a light on each other more. You know, I think going back to where you started, I think part of the problem of society now, and especially with social media, etc., which is what I work in day out, is that actually too many people in that arena are actually, it's me all the time, you know, and it's kind of like, look what I'm doing, look at this, look at that, etc. But you know, when we turn that and we actually use that power of community, but we actually start shining a light on what other people are doing all of the time and saying, look, then we get it back as well. I believe that's when we get the validation back, because it then becomes a genuine support of each other, because you know, somebody's looking and going, well, you know, thank you for doing that. That was the dog. I forgot he was even here. There we go. But do you feel that it's about looking outwards?
100%. And I used to do community music, like choirs and singing groups. I'm a big believer in community. I think social media, I mean, I talk about this all the time with my friends. So many of my brilliant, wonderful, creative friends hate it. And so it's hard to know if that social media is actually real community. But I try to cultivate that in whatever I'm doing. So with community music, it was choirs and people in person. And then on my social media, it's trying to, as best you can with that medium, to connect to people. But I think, community is healing, sharing is healing, and that everything else is kind of feeding this illusion of separation and this competitiveness and this, survivalist mentality that I think is very dangerous when we forget about each other. And how my next song, the song that I'm putting out next, is all about the spiritual idea that we're all connected, that we're all one. And if you harm someone, you know, you're harming yourself, you're harming the collective. We're all in it together. And that's, I know it sounds super cheesy, but it's so, if we took that paradigm shift, I feel like a lot of things would be different. But fortunately, in music in the creative sphere, I can at least attempt to bring that around to my music, which, which all artists in a way aspire to do, to kind of find their people, like find your tribe and stick together. Ooh.
Tell us a bit about your latest song. Tell the listeners what.
Okay, so my latest song, Innocent Days, was released last month on April 6th, which was the full moon. I chose to follow the moon cycles because it's a really wonderful way of reflecting on themes within your own life. It's just a healing methodology, whether you believe in astrology or not. It's a way of kind of connecting to yourself on these cycles. And for the new moons, you set intentions, and the full moons you release. So it had been a few years since I released music, and I was stuck with perfectionism. So, using the full moons was a great kind of marrying of what I'm right about in the music to, the spiritual and the astrological side. So Innocent Days is a really epic song. It's all about letting go of negative and harmful patterns within your mind, within your relationships. And it's talking about the idea of innocence and knowing that there is it's not real, it's an idealized thing, but it's also, we want to return to some equilibrium, some level of balance. So it's just grappling with that tension within the song. So it was quite a deep and dark song, really. But it was produced with John Elliott, who has a studio in Newcastle, Loft Music Studios. He's also an artist, Traffic. And I've had the song for a few years, so it was really time to let it go, to release it.
I'm really glad that you are. And thank you so much. I'm sorry about the dog before. You know what? He's been hiding away somewhere under a blanket, I think, for the whole of the day, and then it's suddenly just come out. Maybe he might even make an appearance in a minute. You all right there, dog?
Please do. That would be brilliant.
Yeah. Do you like dogs? Are you keen on animals?
I am keen on animals. I am more of a cat person. I'm not going to lie, I'm a cat person. I've just been raised with cats, and we did have a dog when I was super, super young, but no, more of a cat person. But dogs are
the thing
wonderful.
This is a mini sausage dog, so it's basically the size of a cat. Aren't you? Come here and say hello.
I kind of want to see them.
Come on. I don't know whether he will, but I'll try. If you're watching,
it's the star of the show.
if you're watching this, viewers, then you might see a dog in a minute. If you're listening to this on Spotify, then you won't see the dog.
Damn!
Come on.
What a cutie!
Here we go.
Oh my
see?
God! Hello.
Basically the size of a cat. The ratings at this point have now just tripled. All right, because as soon as you put on social media, as soon as you put a cute dog into the fray, then that's it.
Yeah. Oh,
you've got to do that. And see, in your videos at some point, you just put an animal in there, and then suddenly it's like, wow.
I will take that on board for the next music video.
No, absolutely. Everybody out there should do it. We just keep it real here. In terms of how you write your music, how do you start? How do you put things together? Are you proficient on lots of instruments? Are you one instrument based?
So I play a little bit of the keyboard, the piano. I started off just doing a cappellas because I couldn't play an instrument. And then I got a couple lessons. I don't read music. I all come from a classical background. I could just play basic chords, and that's kind of helped me to build piano and vocal demos. And then over the past few years, I mean, I did a master's last year in songwriting and production. So I've learned a bit more about how to piece together a demo. I've definitely reached a plateau about needing to learn more music theory and needing to progress, but I've kind of got over the initial period of development, and learning an instrument did really open doors. I loved writing a cappella, but it just helped me to craft my demos. And for my own stuff, for Innocent Days, it was after my first trip to London. I just kind of came home and was really overwhelmed, and it all just kind of, the song, the melodies and vocals on a voice note, and then the chords came later on.
Oh, thank God for voice notes.
Thank God for voice notes. I have too many. I have so much file management to do. Honestly, I don't even want to look. It's like thousands. But yeah, I write by myself for some of my music. Although last year, moving to do my masters really opened my eyes to co-writing. And so I do a lot of co-writing now in ways that I never thought that I would. But it's different. But everyone can bring something new and unique to the table, and it's only enhanced my music. So yeah, sometimes it's just me by myself, and then sometimes it's a co-write nowadays for my own music, and I write for other people.
Speeds up the process, co-writing with people in a way, because whenever I've written myself, I've found that I've had to have a lot of time for that in a way, because when you write for yourself, you kind of do this thing where you put something down and then you go, oh no, that's rubbish, and then do another bit and then go, oh, no, that's rubbish, and you're quite, if you're quite self-critical, you can end up with nothing, because you just keep scratching the paper, as it were. Whereas whenever I've written music with other people, it's been a much faster process, because in a way you throw an idea out there and they go, oh, that's good, and then it goes, and then it's like, yes. Oh well, that's gone now. It's not like I can be precious about it, and it's enhanced before you know it, and then it's like, oh yeah, now I like that as well, and that push and pull carries it on momentum wise. Do you find that?
Yeah, 100%. I think I really, really love collaborating, and I've done it in all different types of ways since I moved and started to co-write. And you just have people to bounce off. And yeah, I agree with you. The flow can be great. It can go the other way. Like, not every session is an amazing session. And it just depends what you're writing for, because I've done it for briefs and for other artists where I've just been the songwriter, and that's really fun. That's so fun, because then you just take off your artist hat, and then you're totally there for this other artist, and you're there to support them. Different thing entirely. Or co-writing for my own project, never thought I would do that. Always collaborated with producers and just brought piano demos. But I think it really depends. Like, sometimes you have to write the song by yourself. Like, sometimes the song will come out that way. You're at the piano, at your instrument, like, ooh, someone is phoning me on my other phone. Sorry.
No, it's fine. We're doing really well today. So far, we've had dogs and we've had telephone calls. We are just really, go for it.
I'm just going to go turn it off.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. No, it's fine.
Rambling, that's why.
Can you hear that, folks? That's the sound of a telephone. I think you should have answered. I think you should have answered it on air.
Should I have answered?
You should have answered it. We could have put them on. We could have gone, hi, John. Yeah, don't forget the pizza.
Who was that? This is my old phone. Anyway, so it never rings. It's been in a drawer and it's never rang in its life.
It's one of those radio stations. You entered the competition earlier today, and you meant to pick up and go make me a winner or something, and you could have had £80,000 there or something.
Damn. That would have really helped my music project.
yeah, money does. It does. I was going to ask,
anyway, I don't know where I am now.
How can people support you? going forward, because part of this is to get people to see people as human beings, and the people behind the music, so that they understand that, you know, because it's still a kind of sort of misbelief out there, if you like, that all people in music that are up on the stage and whatever, they're all making loads of money, but of course they're not. You know, how what's the best way people can support you?
Okay, this is a great question. Thank you for the consideration in asking, because it's important, especially with the cost of living crisis. And a couple of years ago, I worked with youth music over the pandemic, and like they had a study, and I contributed to some of the research, and lots of young people all over the country did so. And one of the quotes that stuck with me, that it's not the most talented people necessarily that persist, it's the people with the most resources and the most support, and all of those factors determine what is in culture. So the way, you know, we support artists is important, but I recognize equally it's a difficult time for people to invest in art. You know, you have other things to pay for, and I am so mindful of that everybody is feeling it in whichever way. But I would like to, at least for myself and my friends, to have those diverse voices in music to keep us going. So the best way to support my music would be to buy my music on Bandcamp. That will go directly to me. Especially on the Bandcamp Friday. It's actually Bandcamp Friday today. So
exactly,
if you buy music
the right
today,
day, you see.
And I've not really had many people buy things on there, which I understand it's not a platform that everybody knows or is aware of. But Bandcamp, there's obviously iTunes, but Bandcamp will go like directly to me. If I have shows, gigs, come to the shows, if you're able. And I haven't developed merchandise yet, but that's my next kind of project, because I really want to have something sustainable. I don't want to throw any more rubbish into the world. I want to add value. So when I develop that, some products, and I guess if there's any music industry professionals, it depends who I'm speaking to. It's just opportunity. You know, I'm seeking opportunities to try and be sustainable so I can keep doing this. So yeah, Bandcamp, gigs and shows, merchandise when I make it, which is, you know, and also sharing my music is a big one. Sharing, streaming, like if you like it, you know, and attention is everything. Attention is, you know, the most valued thing, really. So sharing with people that you think it might resonate with is a big one as well. And then any music industry or industry people, you know, opportunities for I don't know how specific to go, but yeah, opportunities to get my music to a wider.
Well, I think that's perfect. Now, look, Trooper's going to tell you all. Here he is, but he's back again. If you've been listening to Becca today and you've really enjoyed what she has to say, he also says that she's got an absolutely amazing voice. If you would like to support her, yes, if you would like to support her, then please do go to her Bandcamp and buy something today. It's Bandcamp Friday, for goodness sake. More of the money goes to the artists. Go and do it. Go tell the world. There you go. You. And just like that, there he goes. You see, Becca, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you today. Thank you so much for coming and telling us a little bit about your life in music.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for sharing your telephone call as well. And please, people, if you've enjoyed this, no, please share it on all of the social medias. Not for me, but for Becca here and all of the other artists who really do need your support. I'm going to say goodbye now because I'm going to go and let the dog out.
Bless you.
Follow Becca
Thank you so
on
much.
all of the social medias, and if you've enjoyed this, please do share. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
Thank you. Thank you.